you can keep a man away from the markets, but you can't keep the markets away from a man. And such individual is Porinju Veliyath. He is in Langkawi, arguably holidaying, and still consistently looking at the markets, consistently tweeting about them, and thankfully taking the time out and joining us from his hotel in Langkawi, Malaysia. Thanks a lot for that. Porinju, really good of you to join in. I much appreciate you joining in. Merry Christmas, of course, from all of us here at Team ET Now.
Merry Christmas to all the viewers of ET Now, and thank you, Neeraj.
Okay. So, Porinju, we've been reading your tweets, and which is why we thought of making this, unusual request of asking you to join us from a holiday as well. You've been quite vocal that this demonetization drive and anti-black money drive will actually be good for equity markets, and you believe that there is a sale going on in equity markets right now, year-end sale, and therefore people should go out and buy the stocks that they want. Why do you think so?
Of course, it's not a very deep discount sale, but it's, we have a lot of negativism being discussed, Neeraj, in the this last quarter, and perhaps in the last 2 years. There is a tendency among a lot of the large number of journalists and a lot of people in the markets, to have a little biased view about things happening. Some way they want to create a negativism around things happening in this country. So that could be affecting the investor sentiment definitely in the last 1 year at least. But that cannot go on forever. There is fundamentals in the business, in the economy, which you cannot ignore for a long period of time. So from that perspective, what's happening in this country, as you rightly told about, demonetization is not a single big event. It is just part of a crusade, what people call it, or it can be, it's a big process, a much required things happening in this country against corruption. So as an investor, from an investor point of view, how can you analyze that? It's a bit complicated. If you keep it very simple, I would say the organized sector is going to benefit immensely from what's going to happen or what's happening. When we say organized sector, the listed companies come into that space. They are supposed to be organized. If you remember, Neeraj, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, many annual reports of the companies, they used to say in the director's report, we are suffering from the competition from the unorganized sector. Or basically the unorganized or the black sector, where they don't pay the excess duties properly, or they may be avoiding the state government taxes. So the organized sector has had to compete with them, which was a challenge in many pockets and many companies and many industry-wise, So that is going to change now radically. So basically the listed companies in general are going to benefit with higher revenue, higher profit margins, and more importantly, a clean economic environment. It's not at all negative for the stock markets. It is very positive for the stock market, but at the same time, there are other aspects also playing for the market. There are global aspects. There is a slowdown. There is disruptive growth happening. So those all are different. What I'm talking is, in general, the impact of demonetization and the other action against black money and corruption. That is, generally speaking, positive for the equity investors, and the technical factors are coming up.
Yeah, indeed they are. Porinju, hi, good morning and Merry Christmas as well as Happy New Year to you and your family as well.
Thank you, Aisha.
Right. So, while you're saying that long-term things are going to get okay, but Porinju, the fact of the matter is quite a couple of uncertainties ahead of us. January earnings are supposed to be really, really a bit of a shocker in terms of how negative growth can be because of demonetization, etc., what have you. And then, of course, you've got the big event, the budget as well. How long do you think this volatile, uncertain phase for the market is going to last before we finally see that, one-way move up kind of rally?
I think that uncertain period is for the market is over. And uncertainties, potential uncertainties will continue to be there. And Aisha, there is no fun in life without uncertainties. If everything is certain, it's so going to be very boring. not only in investing, in the whole life. So let us expect there will be uncertainties forever. So that doesn't mean you go negative about it. A lot of those uncertainties are created. It is campaigned, and I don't believe there are really uncertainties. Now coming to the a quarter or two decline in revenue and profitability for some companies, there is no uncertainty. It is very sure. So it's not about uncertainty, but equity investing is definitely beyond a quarter or two. Basically investment is supposed to be much more than many quarters, maybe more than 2 years. So that is the way one should invest in equities. So Indian equities today, it is definitely, as I used to say, it's an inflection point along with the economy. The total structure is changing. I have talked 1 year ago about the architecture of Indian economy is changing. We have to accept that. We have to change with that. The people have to learn to, embrace those changes for their own benefits, for the benefit of the nation. And in spite of, it is true. I also agree. There's nobody disagree with you when we say there are some challenges, there are some sufferings among people. But it's not fair, when some journalists go on showing even today, I can see journalists go on showing the ATM queues, and they're talking about the poor suffering and the farmers suffering. See, I'm not telling everything is fine, but these are some inconveniences of a big picture, a big thing happening in this country, which is for everybody's good. Now, the real poor people are not in the ATM queue. They don't have money in the bank. ATM queue, you should be in the queue only if you have got money, if you have got savings. What about the 100, 200 million Indians who do not have money at all? They may see 500, 1,000 few notes they might have seen. But there is a wrong campaign, Aisha, about the whole thing happening. People who really do not understand.
Porinju, you're saying that the worst of the fall is already done with, right?
Yeah, for the markets, there was no big fall also, if you see. Now, after all these negatives, we are talking about 400, 500 points fall in the Nifty. This can happen for, some kind of low sentiment in the market. So I don't believe even the markets have fallen. What I feel in 2016, we had a very flat market. We had, despite the small ups and downs. And similarly, even 2015 was not a great year for equity. For the watchers of Nifty and Sensex. There are smart stock pickers making money in all these kind of markets. It's a different aspect altogether. Even in 2017, I feel Nifty is going to have a very reasonable and an impressive bull run in 2017 for various aspects. The technical aspects, what I was indicating earlier, is the power of domestic investment. The Indian households are going to be, very big investors in Indian equities, because there will be discouraging factors, elements for investing in the gold or real estate kind of things. Interest rates are going to decline in any case. It will be a declining trend. I don't know which month it's going to come down and down. So all these aspects are pointing, and there is more of white than the black going forward. Everybody will agree to that.
Of course.
So all these things are indicating we have tremendous savings in our households. It doesn't flow into the equity was our problem.
Right.
So that is going to change first time. There will be surprising amount of money coming into the Indian equity markets from Indian households in 2017 and in 18 and going forward.
Okay, so that's the broad construct. Maybe the Nifty will have a reasonable year, and within that, spaces could do well. So Porinju, I think our Twitter accounts are flooded ever since people knew about this interaction as to what is Porinju's view on what within the market mood could do well. Now, let me first get your broad theme. The top 2 or 3 themes that you think will do well in 2017 or 2017, 2018, so on and so forth. The top 2 or 3 themes that you're betting on right now.
I feel we should bet on higher capex by the government going forward. There will be higher tax. The tax system is going to change. Now, last week people were so much worried about the long-term capital gains could come back. Even if the long-term gains are taxed at 10-15%, I think it's still very favorable to the investing community. Our biggest problem is the taxation structure. It is too complicated. We need to simplify the taxation system. And it's very important. In the last 2 decades, that has been complicated like hell. The honest taxpayers are suffering more than the others. So we need to restructure, simplify our taxation system. I hope now 2 years, nothing much done in that regard. I'm very disappointed on that aspect. I hope the finance minister, the government will do it in the coming next 1-2 years. Simplification of taxation, which is very important. So there will be more tax, more people will be in the tax net. This is the first time in India's history a serious effort is done by the government for bringing more people under the tax net. And that will be very effective. And this is going to be practically, you are going to see a lot of money coming to the tax by way of the direct tax because of this demonetization and many other aspects. And indirect tax, now GST is going to be a game changer. So in both these things, direct taxes and indirect taxes will have much more tax collection, and that will result in more capex. The infrastructure companies, Neeraj, our earlier theme, I am very bullish on select infrastructure companies, even though they did not perform very well. Of course, some of them have done well. The stocks like J. Kumar, Sunil High-Tech, some of them I used to buy also, and we have discussed earlier. And there are some railway companies can be, under watch. Stocks like the Texmaco Rail. There is companies like Titago Wagons. So it's I'm telling a lot of them. Let people a bit open, think a bit positive, learning. I'm telling you, Indian equity market is still there are tremendous values in the market. There's a lot of opportunities.
Porinju, while on a holiday, from what we learned from the bulk deals, you've picked up some stakes in or reinvested, if you will, in a company called Saxoft. Now, I know you've been talking about this cashlessness theme and IT companies related to that. Why are you buying into these companies? A Saxoft, or if I'm not wrong, an RS Software is something that you've liked and you're probably buying as well. Why are you buying these companies?
Yeah, Neeraj, we discussed this some time back, if you remember, during Diwali, the e-governance companies and the companies which could benefit when this cashless or less cash kind of economy is taking shape. They have a role to play in some of these things. Of course, Saxoft is a company not for the local markets, domestic market. They are having, it's a very cute small company. So it was some 200 crores market cap. And so it's, there's a smart guy managing the company and founded this company. And, they are very open. It's small. They are very active in US and UK markets. And very clean balance sheet, almost net level, no debt. So it looks interesting. These kind of small Indian companies, there are a lot of them. They can create huge wealth, being well managed, and India-specific cost advantages and our cost competitiveness. These companies can be globally very big. Most of these companies have started in a small way. Look at Infosys when they started it in the early 90s. It was a very small company. So we don't know, but one cannot make too much of exposure into these kind of smaller companies.
Of course.
If you make a portfolio of 5-10 stocks and 2-3 of them do well, I think that can create huge wealth for the investing community.
So Porinju, my simple question is, and I'm sure Aisha has a couple of more as well, but are you happy holding on to Saxoft for the foreseeable future, or is it a watch and go play? And I want to also ask you about RS Software. I think that's something that you like. It's got cash on its books, but a large client is now out. Visa was the large client and they are out of the business now. Why is it that somebody should believe into RS Software, the management and the product?
See, this company, I just felt this is too early to write off. Now, when you say Neeraj, Visa was their client, that means this company has something, They're capable of doing big things. And it has got a clean balance sheet and they're sitting on cash. The Visa has gone, the business is gone, and stock price has come down from, I think, some 400 kind of levels to 60 rupees. That's how I started looking at this stock. Now, I have got a habit of catching falling knife, as we discussed earlier. So I like this company because of the clean and healthy balance sheet, and promoters seems to be very passionate about what they're doing. And maybe now today market men may say, promoters are not good because the stock price has come down from high levels. So that's not enough reason to make a comment like that. But that is a general impression. But I think this company has a role to play going forward, even in the domestic market in a big way, because of the many platforms and applications they've created. Of course, I haven't gone into too much details of this, and I'm not smart enough to understand this kind of technological, aspects of companies. But I go by some kind of wisdom and common sense, whatever I have. So in that way, I found this company. Even I had some exposure to Datamatics. I bought some stocks, Cosin, a Hyderabad-based company. I feel there are a lot of small companies in Hyderabad, which people used to write off because they are from Hyderabad. They have a lot of those people. I've met some of them. I found them very smart guys. So you don't just generally write off a company because it's from a particular geography or it is from a particular industry. Investors have to be should not have very, tight, watertight rules to follow. Should be flexible, should be learning, keep your eyes and ears open. So I feel these companies, there are 15, 20 companies in that sector, so small IT companies, e-governance, which is, they have got a platform for the cashless economy and many such applications, government business, and all the state governments are going to do, the local authorities are going to spend money on IT-related business going forward. So it is. I'm talking about huge billions of dollars. Orders could be coming into these kind of small companies who have created a platform and who has a lot of expertise to execute such business orders.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Porinju, my Twitter account is flooded. People want to know what should they do with your erstwhile favorite Talwalkars now. Should they stay put or is it time to book profits now?
I think Talwalkar, I'm holding tight in my portfolio management. Talwalkar seems to be an interesting, good stock. It's not going to be, affected by any kind of these economic developments. It's a futuristic business, I strongly believe in.
Porinju, 2 or 3 more queries again on the Twitter, and I'm sure your Twitter account probably has that as well because it's a tweet marked to the Etina handle and your handle as well. One of the gentlemen says that Neeraj Shah, please ask Porinju Veliyath about FCEL. Some time ago he had mentioned sell Nestle, sell Colgate, buy FCEL. What is his view now after demonetization? Would you want to explain that?
Yeah, FCL, no, nothing to do with the demonetization. I'm telling you, there won't be companies affected or companies impacted positively or negatively because of demonetization in the long run. So I don't consider that part at all for analyzing these companies. FCL, the Future Consumer Enterprises, I am very bullish on this stock for the next many years. We started buying at 10 rupees and we are holding these stocks. I'm very confident about this stock. Comparing to the other stocks in the industry. That seems to be having more visibility going forward. The business model is fantastic and it has got an important role to play in the Indian economy. And the promoters are also talking very highly about the company, of course, and rationally, they're not just talking about it. So this company from around 3,000-4,000 crores kind of a revenue can grow to 15,000 crores, 20,000 crores, why not 50,000 crores? Over a period of time, and it can come into profitability in another 2 years' time. That's what I strongly believe. So FCL definitely a very good stock to continue to hold. I was looking at some of the stocks like HSIL, our earlier stocks which you have discussed in the channel, Hindustan Sanitary Ware, TCI, Transport Corporation of India. Now in a depressed kind of markets and these industries are not in fancy, so people go on selling. Many people are selling, they are looking at companies which are seemingly affected by the demonetization. That's the biggest blunder they are doing, in fact. There are some cement companies, for example, I started buying Orient Cement. The stock price was 220.30, came down to 115 rupees yesterday. So just because of, there may be some slowdown in cement at this point of time. Maybe it can go on for another 1 or 2 quarters. But these companies, this business are very important for this country. And we are going to see much higher spend on infrastructure going forward. So it may be a mistake, selling of these stocks at half the price just because of demonetization. So I'm bullish on 2 segments, to be frank, Neeraj. 2 segments. One segment is the companies which are affected by demonetization. I'm bullish on them at the beaten down prices. The other segment, I'm bullish on companies which are benefiting because of the demonetization.
Point, Porinju, can't let you go before giving us a bright new 2017 idea. So aside of the names that you've already mentioned, one top stock idea for 2017 for our viewers.
This morning I was looking at a couple of stocks, we used to have a lot of fancy for the holding companies earlier. So now another 6 months nobody will talk about that. But maybe, it will come back again. And really these companies can have a much higher discounting. The Bombay Burma Trading Corporation, BBTC. Another one is, the Bengal Assam company. These two are the holding company. I want investors to explore these companies. What are they holding? What is the net worth? What is the worth of these companies? And what is the price? I think these companies are available at something like 80, 85, 90% discount to their intrinsic value. So there is a chance that this difference can come down to say 50, 60%. Even in that case, that's a huge multi-bagger, these stocks to be watched. Of course, I'm not very happy with the promoters of both the companies, but even if they have some problems, they may change going forward. And one more thing, again, I want to repeat to the viewers, look at the turnarounds in this economy, because the new changing India, the new rules of business are going to create a lot of companies, change the profile. They change the working style. Instead of siphoning out money, they'll be showing all the profits. And keeping black money and living with black money is going to be a tough job for the large players at least. So there is going to be a major shift. So a lot of smaller companies, the companies in the mid caps, the companies which are listed only on BSE, the so-called, I would again repeat that people used to say chore companies. A lot of them are going to change the management profile, the promoters profile, and they are going to be multi-baggers.
Right.